The time has come that we change, okay? The time has come that we change how we look at these things because you will be limited. I told this one team, I'm not interested in being a hamster on a wheel. I have a lot to offer. I can be utilized, right? Just listen, trust me, you don't miss with this stuff. It's simple, it's science, it's physics, it's all proven. Let me ask this question to you guys. And everybody's seen it, it's been a combine. Okay, you got 10 scouts at the 40-yard dash line holding a stopwatch. Okay, just think about this. We have a rover on Mars, and you got 10 dudes holding a stopwatch. You got one guy up in the stands about 20 rows up. I got it. You know, he's a 4 or 5. What does it matter? Do you guys not see this as a problem? This is a problem, okay? This is a massive problem. And there's a quote by Ray Kurzweil, who's a computer scientist and an inventor. And he says, the intuition of our future is linear. The reality is the information technology is exponential. And again, there's a major difference, okay? If I take 30 steps linearly, I get to 30. If I take 30 steps exponentially, I get to 1 billion, okay? The point is this, the resources are out there, the technology is out there, the knowledge behind how to use that stuff is not. And if it does, it's like, you know, it's in the hands of the people that know the least about it. Okay? And trust me, I've seen it. I'm in the hub of it, man, the Silicon Valley of where it's amazing at how much is available and what's going on and what their plans are. The problem is they're starting at the wrong end. They really are. I've talked to a number of guys, you know, and I'm always cautious with everything, okay? I'm going to observe. I'm going to ask questions. Because I'm not going to be one of those guys that's going to get hit over the head with a sack of shit and then all of a sudden, geez, you know, I should be doing GPS. No, I'm going to identify, I'm going to study, I'm going to gain knowledge in whatever it is I'm doing. And it's got to make sense to me, right? I'm looking at some of this GPS stuff. I'm like, this isn't telling me what I see out there. This ain't telling me nothing, right? There's no kinetics involved. There's no force involved. What does it tell me? The game football is about force. It doesn't tell me anything. Now, overload, this, that, and the other. Yeah, but again, it's starting at the wrong end. It is starting at the wrong end. You have to have a plan from the beginning, okay? So, obviously, I've taken a back seat to a lot of things that people have done in this field, and I've really been cautious. And the reason being is because GPS, in-bodies, whatever it is that technology has brought to us, again, that is what is emergent. You guys realize that? There's what is fundamental, what is emergent. That's all window dressing stuff, man. That's all bells and whistles, okay? You have to establish. Anybody trying to do any technology or bring anything new, you have to establish the bedrock, okay? The foundation to which those things can come. So again, I was very, you know, obviously we had Chip and we had been doing a lot of this stuff before, but I had to establish with the team why it is we're doing it, how we're going to implement it, and what, okay? I wanted to make sure we had a clean plate, okay? Because, you know, it's like supplements. You take too many. You don't even know what is working and what isn't, okay? So what has to happen is we have to fundamentally have these rocks in place to which that stuff can emerge. Because if you don't have this, it doesn't matter what you do, okay? All the exercises, all the training, this, that, and the other means nothing, okay, without these three things. And the first one is ownership, okay? This is a tough one. Obviously, the simplest things are some most hard to do, but this is ownership. So, hey, you got 5 performance coaches, strength coaches, and you got 90 players, okay? And ownership, remember this, is a privilege. It's not because the guy's a 10-year vet, all of a sudden, okay, you're going to do that. No, there's 10-year vets on my team. I wouldn't let coach a Pop Warner team, right? It's knowledge. Experience is not synonymous with knowledge, right? Just because a guy's been doing something for a long time doesn't mean nothing. I'll give you an example. Let me ask you this. How many of you guys have been exposed to a coach that has done something for a very long time that you think's an idiot? That was quick, right? And the name goes real quick. Why? Experience. I've been doing it for 30 years. And, you know, what does that mean? Doesn't mean anything if you've been doing it wrong for 30 years. So the ownership comes on the athlete, okay? That's the bedrock. Those are the behaviors, the accountability. I find it funny too. And I'm all for having leaders, and I'm all for pulling guys up. But I'm going to tell you this, and this is a problem we have. When are you going to be accountable for you? When are you going to be accountable for you? The accountability falls on you. I'll give you an example. We had a NFL guy come in, and, you know, he got up there and he said, you know what? There's a problem in the NFL, and it's drinking and driving. So I'm going to show you a little skit, and you know what? We're at a party, and I'm drinking, and my buddy's drinking, and I go off and drive, and, you know, I run over somebody, and, you know, I get thrown in jail. And the guy gets up there and says, you know what? What should have his teammate done? He should have took the keys away from the guy so the guy didn't drink and drive. I'm sitting there thinking, whoa, that is ass backwards. How about you take responsibility for yourself? Don't drink and drive. Why is it got to be somebody else to pull somebody up? Right? Have accountability for yourself. Take ownership in yourself. If you do that, trust me, it's powerful. Okay, so what we do is we provide ownership to the people that earn it. Okay? We're not just saying, oh, you're a vet or you're a starter, you're going to do this or that. No. That is earned. Okay? And it's a conversation that's had. Okay, we talked about motivation. I don't believe there's a right type of motivation. I really don't. There's external, there's internal, there's intrinsic, extrinsic. Obviously, one's more sustainable, blah, blah, blah. You got it. I'm going to tell you this. It doesn't matter. If you want to get paid, if you want a contract, if you love football, or you playing because it's for your mom, motivation does not matter. What matters is what you consistently do. Okay? What you consistently do. So these are the bedrock to which we wanted things to emerge. And again, this is the big one here, guys. Communication. Obviously, it drives the culture, right? Just think of things that have happened. And I've always referenced this, like going to the moon. How does that even happen? Have you ever thought about that? How does that even happen? Some guy came up with the idea, first of all, and some guy said, there's no way that is going to happen. But this guy said, you know what? I actually think it could. And this guy said, you know what? Yeah, I can. So what happens? There's a communication loop there, and there's a culture that is driven by that communication, and all of a sudden this stuff happens. This is what happens in terms of any type of thing we're going to introduce to the players. Those are the three pieces, the rocks in which we have to have in place. Okay? So we do a little bit of technology, we do some things, but again, we keep it simple with the mantra of assessing, enhancing, and excelling. Okay? What we did was we gave it a NASCAR analogy. The NFL is like NASCAR. Okay? A lot of talent. Everybody's got the same type of car. It's a series of checks and balances, right? The thing, remember this, anytime you introduce technology or something new, you have to make sure you have those fundamentals on the front end to which things can emerge. And from here, the number one thing we try to do is not overreact. Okay? We want to create communication, we want to create dialogue with the player. That is the goal. Okay? We're not overreacting to anything. So again, these are some of the things we did. We did a frame score because I got tired of telling general managers that, you know, the player can't get to 320. Body can't do it. We did obviously in-body assessment, lean body mass. We did a breakfast protocol, which was an objective and subjective measure with the HRV and a questionnaire. Simple stuff. Again, you're missing the boat though. The whole key was the communication and the consistent action. And then the GPS monitoring we did as well. Okay? We provided before and afters for the guys. We had ranges, right? To me, the whole, think about this. One's body weight isn't a performance indicator. Okay? The only indicator of performance is performance. So we give guys ranges that are doable based upon position, based upon lean body mass, this and the other. But I've seen big fat dudes that can play their ass off, and I've seen lean ripped dudes that stand next to me. Okay? So it kind of goes both ways. Can you play? And you're there to play. Obviously, it becomes a limitation. That's something you got to make sure you handle. And again, but you know, it's bad culture. It's bad culture. You got to weigh in. You hear guys sitting in the saunas, guys doing this to lose weight. That ain't good. That is not what you want to, that's a bad culture you're developing there. So again, we did this three-part assessment every morning with the guys. The compliance was great, but we made it accessible to them, okay? And it was simple to a point where we provided the education always. We always circled back. We always communicated as a staff. This example, this is in our players' lounge. We have 12 of these. Simple stuff. It's really, really good before and afters for training camp, right? Getting the weigh-ins. We have another room that is adjacent to our cafeteria. So when guys, if they choose to go to the cafeteria first, they obviously go order food, come sit down, takes 2 minutes, goes back. Obviously, there's a lot of variance and a lot of variables that come into play when you're measuring some of this stuff. You know, you can stub your toe or have a cup of coffee and it throws it off. The key is again, it's just consistency of what we're doing. Again, the guys taking ownership in it. A series of checks and balances, and we don't overreact to anything. We're not just cutting down practice or this, that, and the other. We're being aware. We may do some things differently on the front end in terms of warming up to get guys up, but nothing crazy there. Again, the feedback loop is critical, right? And this is where the communication comes in. Mid-morning, these guys will get this sent to their phone. Okay, they have the previous day's GPS information. And again, simplify it with what we wanted to offer them, show them. Their assessment, right? And then kind of some long haul stuff, the weekly, what happened during the week, right? So where I'm going. This is what I really wanted to talk about. I've been biting my tongue here. Again, I'm in this creative kind of space right now because, and you know, we talked about it last night. I just feel like the profession kind of went, and why did it go there? And being able to identify this. Okay, here's a high performance model. Physical, psychological, sociological, ethical, specific utilization, hereditary. We talked about the genes. Speed, strength, endurance, agility, flexibility, and then specific tasks. Pretty comprehensive, yeah? Let me ask you this, what year did this come from? Do you guys know? Anybody seen this before? Everybody read that? That's 1979, okay? This was 1979. And by looking at this, we were on the right track. We were on the right track. Now, this is a program that I had gotten from a friend, and it's about a 40-page booklet. Goes into every single position, positional demands, you know, all the macros and micros of their preparation. One of the cool things, you know, Bob Ward, I think, did this back in the day with the Dallas Cowboys. He was a thrower. And then Tom Landry at the time, if you know his background, he was an engineer. Okay, so we were thinking this stuff 30 years ago, but somewhere when we went here, they went everything. You know, we went down a path, and I posed the question. I wonder why, right? Why? And I think it's because we've been heavily influenced from coaches that don't have the knowledge behind preparation. They just don't have the knowledge behind it. And I give an example, okay, of an up-tempo offense. Everybody, that's the latest and greatest, like some new invention. Okay, so Joe Staley, a 5-time All-Pro, comes off the sideline to me during a game. He says, Uy, he goes, man, I'm out of shape. This is first preseason game. I said, Joe, time out. You're not out of shape. He says, I can't get my breath, man. It feels like, it feels like I'm blocking twice as long. Joe, you are. If you think about up-tempo practice, you never see the duration and the finality of a play. So that engage and that force and that yielding is 2 to 3 seconds. You get in the game, it's upwards of 6. So that's like taking a marathon runner and saying to that marathon runner, you're going to train, but you're only going to train 12 miles. He's going to have an oh shit moment when he gets to mile 16, 17 because he hasn't been exposed to that. So then he says to me, hey, Uy, do I need to run after practice? I said, no, Joe, no. He said, well, you know, I feel how I said, Joe, think about this. Is it running that made you tired? And you look at the data, no, he ain't running anywhere. It's the duration and the yielding of force. So how can that be integrated? It needs to be. It needs to be. It needs to be integrated into the overall plan, okay? It needs to be, because that's a massive gap. Think about this too, and Buddy alluded to it, but I just got to say it again. You got 90 guys with the bones of a practice. 1 week later, you got 53, and the bones don't change. Who's taking all these reps, right? That line of receivers goes from 12 to 6, right? So everything gets doubled, right? So the NFL is like, come on, man. There's these massive spikes and changes, and then they wonder why guys get hurt. Or if they don't get hurt, it's coming down the pike. It's coming later. These are simple concepts of preparation, simple concepts of loading that just get overlooked. Tell you another story. I went to a volleyball. How many of you guys seen club volleyball? You guys watch club volleyball? I didn't know how popular it was. I went to a volleyball tournament a few weeks back, and the whole conference area was filled with 85 games going at once. Okay, there's 170 teams. And I'm sitting back watching, and these girls are playing like 6 matches a day. Okay? There's a 20-minute break in between each match. 15 of that, they're re-warming up again. Okay? I'm like, have them sit down. Have them sit down. What are you doing? You got a kid that is literally off the court 7 or 8 yards. You got the coach on the corner of the deal. She's taking a 5-yard run and trying to dig a ball. First of all, when does that ever happen? There's never that much space on the court. Maybe once when it's, off the court, what have you. But you're repeating that task. You got the 2 coaches sitting there flipping on their phones, and these girls, like they need this. And I'm sitting back watching, I'm like, I bet you there's not one girl here that can do a push-up. That's a problem. That's a problem. So what happens? Right? And I said this to James Smith, and he said, Uy, what you have there is a poorly made bridge with a ton of traffic. And he's right. He's right, and this is what's happened. The fundamentals, okay? I can't stress the fundamentals enough. But again, we were on the right track, guys. I'm just telling you. Some way, shape, or form, it took a detour to making guys puke and 300-yard shuttles and all this, that, and the other crap that has nothing to do with anything. We were on the right track. And again, so I say this because it's funny. I had lunch the other day with Paul Francis, the director of innovation for Nike. He runs the kitchen, it's like the brain trust of Nike. And he said, Uy, trust me, there's pockets of resistance. Okay? There's pockets of resistance. You're not alone. I'm like, good. Because again, the way we can change things, does everybody see this as a problem? Some of the things that are going on? I got interviewed a couple weeks back. And I first of all told him, I said, look, hey, if you're looking for a weight room supervisor, I'm not your guy. Okay? I said, I'm not your guy. And the thought process was, it's just this, hey, Uyey's got him, you're in the weight room. That couldn't be more wrong, okay? Again, everything comes at a cost. We know this, okay? There needs to be a blueprint for the training model. James's book, I'm telling you, it's going to hurt your brain a little bit, but read it. Ask questions. Ask questions. That's the key. Talk, communicate. This is a room full of guys that, I'm telling you, anything I say up here, you really can't deny because it's a truth. But we got to be the ones to instigate it, the change. And anytime there's a paradigm shift, right? I'm telling you, it's not right. I'm telling you, we're doing more harm than good. Whenever there's a paradigm shift, it is always met with resistance. Always. But the way we get through the resistance is talking about it. And you cannot deny the facts. You could not deny what is irrefutable, right? It's like physics and gravity. That dropped, it's what it is. You cannot deny it. We need to have a blueprint a training model. Okay, an example. And James gave me this good one. I'm sharing a lot of his stuff. First of all, I talk to James pretty much daily. I'm fortunate to been the soundboard for his book. I didn't come up here to pump his book, but it is like the super training of this day. Trust me. I read a lot. And one of the examples he best gave me was, first of all, he said, we know strength and conditioning is outdated. Can we agree on that? Can we agree on that? And in order to solve a problem, it's problem solving 101. Okay, you go to an AA meeting, Alcohol Anonymous. What is the first thing the guy gets up there and does and says? Huh? I'm so-and-so, I'm alcoholic. We have to be aware. It's called awareness. There is a problem here, okay? Not to mention, half you guys are getting blamed for the shit that is unorganized and shouldn't be. That's a problem, right? How many guys on IR? What are you looking at me for? What are you talking about? You think guys get hurt in that 2-week period? How about you organize practice? That's simple. Again, where does that come though, right? We have to talk, we have to educate, we have to provide the knowledge, right? We all know coaches. That's a tough nut to crack now. Everybody's sitting there saying, yeah, no way that's gonna happen. But it just takes one guy to do it, okay? It takes one guy to do it, and then all of a sudden it'll steamroll. Trust me, you guys have a concept of load management, right? You build a bridge. When you build a bridge, there's a certain tonnage that the bridge can withhold. There's a certain environmental factors that come into play. There's certain measures that you take if there's seismic plates under the bridge. These are all things that need to get considered in terms of engineering plans for your athletes. Then it's like, well, you know, he's doing this over there and, you know, I got to adapt and I'll take this off. No, you have a plan. You have a master plan. And the best example I got was when James told me, he said, "Ooh, strength and conditioning is like a hamster on a wheel in a lab." Okay? And in that lab, you have another hamster on a wheel, which is the sport, and you have another hamster on a wheel, which is the physiotherapeutic, the medical side of things. Each hamster is working without a common unifier, right? We've got to do away with the right hand not knowing what the left hand is doing. What can unify those? Take your car for an example. Everybody knows, does everybody know what a differential gear is? The differential gear in your car allows for rotational access to occur from one wheel to the next. So those don't compete against each other, right? It unifies the wheels. The time has come that we change, okay? The time has come that we change how we look at these things because you will be limited. I told this one team, I'm not interested in being a hamster on a wheel. I have a lot to offer. I can be utilized, right? Just listen, trust me, you don't miss with this stuff. It's simple, it's science, it's physics, it's all proven. Again, so you have your separate silos. Think of it in this term. Again, you have your sport, strength and conditioning, and you have physiotherapeutic. No matter how good the communication, no matter if you like your trainer or you don't, you are going to be limited. The apex will be limited to the width of the silo in which you're in. Okay? Now you take down the walls. Look at the width of those 3 silos. Look what is possible. What is possible is what is beneath the water of the iceberg. Okay? So if anything, get your thoughts around that. Trust me. Then everything you do is not for none, man. I'm telling you, right? It's not because of or in spite of, right? You all know confirmation bias, right? That's what happens. It's confirmation bias. You get Stephen Curry throwing up 3 points from half court. Now every guy in a YMCA is throwing them up because they think they can do it. And the one time they hit one shot out of 100 makes them think they can do it. This is where we're at. So you ask a guy, well, hey, guess what? Did what we do, did we win because of that or was it in spite of? Okay, and again, example. My man, Jesse, Falcons here? Jesse? Is he here? Falcons strength coach? He was here. Okay, so hey, Julio Jones, you guys all read the news, right? The most important game of the year in his whole career, okay? Julio Jones didn't practice all week. You guys all heard about that, right? He didn't practice. He did not practice all week. And he barely practiced the week of the Super Bowl. What does that tell you? What does it tell you? One, it was a good thing he got injured because he didn't get overloaded and he showed out during the game. He would have been the MVP of the game. I'm not saying nobody has to practice, but each person has to have an individualized performance strategy. And it can't be one and the same. I got an all-pro left tackle, Joe Staley. Okay? I got a rookie. I don't want to dog on him. I got a rookie that literally looks like a bag of milk. Okay? Joe Staley gets hurt. This dude goes in, and I'm like, I gotta watch this. His first play, kick slide, ba-boom. He gets folded up like a Gap shirt. Okay? And I'm sitting there like, we got a problem here. I got to play a whole game with this dude? Like, seriously, we better get this dude some help. Chip, come down and chip block him or get the running back over there because this guy's going to have a long day. Okay? But the point is this. If you look at what they're doing in practice, they're doing the exact same shit. This guy, first of all, Joe Staley, I mean, he'll lift his ass off. Strength is one of his strengths. Okay? And he can move. It's the reason why he's an all-pro. This kid, the strength is a limiting factor. If he doesn't improve that, he's gonna get killed out there. So why is his plan the same as his? We're doing him a disservice. Again, he's doing all patty cake shit, the same shit he's doing. That's okay, he don't need it. This is a limiting factor for him. Where's his individualized performance strategy and plan for him? This is what needs to be established. And it's simple stuff, guys. Trust me. Any coach that's been here, right? We're outnumbered, man. You go into a training session in the summer. You got 5 guys, there's fucking 100 guys out there. And guess what? You get it done. And you're doing a lot of different things and it's organized, right? And structured, and you get it done. And it's specific. You get it done. You go out to a football practice, there's 25 coaches out there, and they're saying there are not enough coaches? Come on, right? We got to all work off the same plan. Everybody know this guy? No? Jiro Ono. He's touted as the world's greatest sushi chef. 90-year-old guy. He runs a sushi restaurant in the Tokyo subway. It's a 10-seat restaurant. It's got a year-long waiting list. Okay, year-long waiting list to go. One of the cool things, and get this movie, you guys should watch it. It's very good in terms of coaching. Where I'm at in my mind and my process right now, where I'm thinking, is really looking at other domains because this stuff is getting done. Whether you're a general contractor building a stadium, right? Whether you're a small business owner, whether you're a chef preparing a meal, okay? I'm almost thinking, like, if you think about it, right? You got a guy, you got an In-N-Out burger manager, and you got a coach, okay? If you ask In-N-Out burger guy, manager, take me through the process here. He'll tell you exactly what to do. How hot the fries should be, what type of oil, how to do the burger, how to do the cashier, how to do the drive-thru. Okay? Same thing with a chef. Every part of the process, they have some sort of knowledge behind. Okay? What type of fish? Okay? What type of rice? How is it served? What's the sequence of the meal? Right? So it goes in order, so it doesn't taste like shit. Again, it's all sequential, right? They have an idea. You ask a coach about the weight room, it's like, we squat. Or, yeah, we do stem. You need to develop this understanding. And you know what, guys? We know the stuff. Okay? We know the stuff. We got to be the ones to bridge the gap. Okay? We got to be the ones to bridge the gap, to educate. And it's a daunting task. It is. If you're not competent about it. If you don't have an understanding, you're not knowledgeable. Again, this is his book here. James's book. This thing has really driven me because I think it's possible. And it's going to come. Okay? Think about sport and where we're at with what we're learning and where we're at right now. Okay? And it's in its infancy. You guys realize that, right? Nothing has really changed in football besides a leather helmet and a plastic helmet. Okay? Nothing's really changed. There's going to be a time for change. There's going to be a time for changing in sport. It's down a detoured path. People are just doing stuff to make money half the time, and look what it leads to. Okay? You cannot deny this stuff. And you know what? It needs to happen. So in terms of my thought process and where I'm at as well, I'm well aware technology is here, okay, and it's here to stay. Again, we got to cut away what is essential. We got to have an understanding of it and how it can best help us. So you heard it here first. We're in the process right now of building some of this stuff to where we're going to be able to measure everything, okay, everything. And I'm talking forces, everything. It can be done. There's crash test dummies that hit a wall. They understand how much force. We got a rover on Mars. We can do this stuff. It's available. The key is getting it in the right hands. The key isn't just throwing it in a sport and saying, you know what? Yeah, you know what? It's going to take 3 or 4 years. You got to collect the data. And you know what? Maybe you got to scale here, take 20% off of that. I'm telling you, that is the ass backwards way to go about it. You have to have the blueprint in place, okay, to where all those are integrated with one another. Your physiotherapeutics integrated with the load. The game tells you what you need to prepare for, right? We all know it's 300 seconds, okay? The duration of the play is anywhere between 4 to 6. There's anywhere between 60 to 70 plays per game. That's what it does. Those demands, there's the alactic capacity, which are more of your plays. There's the supportive stuff that you need to do. Whether you're lifting a weight, it's all specialized. It's all specialized. Nothing's general unless the contraction is not one in which is similar, okay? It's all specialized, and it's all preparation. So I leave you with that. One challenge, I challenge you to question things, okay? But understand what is fundamental. You start with what is fundamental, you cannot be denied, okay? You cannot be denied. I'm not biting my tongue about this stuff either, okay? I've made it very clear. Any place I go, this needs to be embraced. And now granted, obviously, the whole league isn't going to flip over and change, but you got to chip away at it, right? You got to chip away at it. There's a difference. Somebody said there's knowledge and intellect. There's a difference, right? Intellect is one's capacity. There's a lot of people out there that have a lot of intellect, they just lack the knowledge, right? So I challenge you to become more knowledgeable so that you're able to ask the questions and you're able to have the answers, okay?